On the news, scores rescued as police uncover illegal rehabilitation center in Adamawa State. Zamfara, Nigeria moves to decongest prisons following indicting reports of poor state of facilities. UK police reveal nationality of dead bodies in Essex truck. We'll begin with the police raid on an illicit rehabilitation center in Adamawa State, northeast Nigeria. A total of 15 persons were rescued from the center, and the Suleiman Ngujore, deputy spokesman of the State Police Command, said the victims were found in harsh conditions in Yola, the state capital, on Wednesday. This is coming less than 24 hours after 11 inmates were rescued at a religious center in Zaria, Kaduna State. Earlier, the police had raided another religious rehabilitation center, and that's in Kaduna, setting 147 inmates free. Njore said some of the victims had spent the past year in dehumanizing conditions. He said only 2 of the rescued persons were teenagers, while other victims were adults within the age bracket of 22 and 46. The deputy spokesman said the police arrested a man and his 3 sons for allegedly operating the illegal rehabilitation home. He adds that investigation had commenced on the activities of the 4 suspects. Zamfara state government is proposing to enact a law to impose capital punishment for banditry, cattle rustling, cultism, kidnapping, and terrorism. This was announced in a press statement signed by the press secretary of the House, Mustafa Kaura. Kaura said the bill has undergone first reading at the Zamfara State House of Assembly. At the plenary session on Thursday, Leader of the House, Farouk Musa, moved the motion for the bill and urged his colleagues to support the motion. According to him, enacting the law would go a long way in aiding the peace-building process in Zamfara State, given the current security situation in the state. Rolf Arigwishola, Minister of Interior, says a committee has been set up to look into how the federal government can decongest prisons in 6 months. The minister said this at a public hearing organized by the National Assembly Joint Committee on Appropriation. He noted that the committee is working with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to achieve the target, admitting that there are over 75,000 inmates in prisons across Nigeria. Arigwishola said the move is to reduce the pressure on its facilities and improve their conditions. The minister's statement is coming days after the publication of an investigative piece on the rot in the prison system. The report revealed drug abuse, sodomy, bribery, pimping, and cash and carry operations at the facility. Now, the rearrangement of former INEC chairman Maurice Iwu before a federal high court in Ikoyi, Lagos State has continued. Iwu is standing trial on 4 counts bordering on money laundering to the tune of 1.2 billion naira filed against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Iwu's rearrangement follows the transfer of the case from Justice Chuka Obiozo to Justice Nicholas Uwibo. Appearing in court today, Iwu pleaded not guilty to the charges. After taking his plea, Justice Uwibo permitted Iwu to continue on the 1 billion naira bail earlier granted to him by Justice Obiozo. He then adjourned the case till November 25, 2019, to hear a motion filed by the defense challenging the court's jurisdiction to entertain the matter. According to the anti-graft agency, Iwu committed the offense in the build-up to the 2015 general elections, in which President Muhammadu Buhari defeated the incumbent president, Goodluck Jonathan. Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, has been directed to effect payment of the new minimum wage on or before 31st December 2019. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, gave the order after its meeting in Abuja on Wednesday. Briefing journalists after the meeting, Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, said the council approved that the payment will take effect from 18 April 2019, which is a day by the new minimum wage was signed into law. The development is coming days after the federal government and the organized labor agreed on the consequential adjustment of salaries for workers in grade level 7 and above.
The financial implications worked out by the National Salaries and Incomes and Wages Commission as consequential adjustment should take effect from April 18th, 2019, the day the new National Minimum Wage Act came into being. Council also approved for us that the financial implications worked out and the attendant payments should be completed on or before 31st December 2019.
Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Yakini Nabena, has asked the federal government to delay the release of a 7 billion naira value-added tax to Bayelsa State. In a statement released on Thursday, Nabena urged the government to wait until the November 16 governorship election is conducted before releasing the money to the state. He says this will ensure the money is not channeled to vote buying to influence the outcome of the poll. Nabena has now urged the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, to delay the approval of the money until the election to allow the state government to use it for its real purpose. Still in Bayelsa, State Commissioner for Mineral Resources, Maxine Fefega, has cancelled his decision to resign his appointment and quit the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Fefega announced the revocation of his resignation in a letter on Thursday. In the letter, he explained that the decision to resign was due to a breakdown in communication between him and the state governor, Sereke Dixon. He said, quote, "Having met and discussed with Dixon, I have reconsidered my decision to remain in the party and the government. This was largely due to the communication gap between me and His Excellency Henry Sereke Dixon, governor of Bayelsa State at the time," end of quote. The Commissioner for Mineral Resources had resigned his position on the 18th of October 2019 because of what he described as perceived political uncertainty and other considerations. He has now urged his supporters to work for the PDP's victory in the forthcoming governorship elections scheduled to hold on November 16, 2019. Stakeholders in the security sector are advocating for intelligence sharing and strong leadership to address security challenges in Nigeria. The Public and Security Dialogue is to discuss interagency rivalry and how it can be addressed. This was organized by Clean Foundation. Sunjoye has that story.
Interagency rivalry is becoming a major issue among security agencies in Nigeria. The Taraba crisis between the police and the army is still a reference point to how deep the situation has become. How can security agencies work with one accord? What are the factors responsible for this unhealthy rivalry? How can the country be made more secure for the citizens? These are the issues being discussed here today by stakeholders in the security sector. Clean Foundation is organizing the Public Safety and Security Dialogue themed Strengthening Interagency Collaboration among Security Agencies in Nigeria. The keynote speaker, who is the retired Army General Martin Luther Agwai, do not waste time in identifying leadership and corruption as the missing link.
Leadership starts from the bottom. Even in your own family, who is the leader? There must be a leader. There must be somebody who directs and dictates what happens. And if we allow the children to do whatsoever they want to do on their own, the house is in chaos. So that is why I agree with John Maxwell that everything begins and ends with leadership. So if we get the leadership right, that is called leader. But some of us, we want the leader, but we don't want the ship, because the ship is the responsibility. There is no organization set up by government that is useless. So there should be no competition, but there should be collaboration. And where there are overlapping responsibility, we should be able, through dialogue, conferences, meetings, exercises, fine-tune them and recommend the amendment that we need.
Other speakers believe the interagency rivalry is not good enough for the country and should be quickly addressed.
It's really bad but not as if it's really a grim situation. It's bad because increasingly we are beginning to be faced with, every time you have over the media, you have one law enforcement agency having issues with another law enforcement agency, either the military with the police or the police with other paramilitary agencies, say maybe civil defense. All of this has implications for the states, for the resources, because one, the time within which they use in fighting could have been used better to channel that time to see how you can protect the people. Nowadays, people are beginning to emphasize the human security aspect of all of this. People are not looking at the physical security again, but how do you protect the people that inhabit those physical spaces?
We have noted that in most of our activities that there is this disconnect between security agencies who ordinarily should be working together, because the essence of their work is to protect lives and properties. But unfortunately, they work at cross purposes. So that has caused a lot of interagency rivalry, interagency collaboration, and problems within the security system. So we felt this is an opportunity for us to bring seasoned, retired security officers to discuss on issues of interagency collaboration.
Stakeholders believe Nigeria will be safer and insurgency contained if understanding and intelligence sharing is allowed among security agencies. From Abuja, Tunji Oye, TV360 News.
The Calabar Division of the Federal High Court, Cross River State, has granted leave to the government to present maxed witnesses in the trial of detained publisher of Cross River Watch, Agba Jalingo. The court made the decision on Wednesday after refusing a request by the defense against the move. Jalingo was arrested and detained in August over allegations of treason, terrorism, among others. He was arrested after the police invited him for questioning over a petition filed against him by the Cross River State Microfinance Bank. The Cross River Watch had written several reports detailing allegations of fraud linking the state governor, Benedict Ayade, to funds allegedly diverted through the microfinance bank. In various publications after his arrest, the Cross River Watch accused the state government of instigating the trial of Jalingo. But Ayade's spokesperson, Christian Ita, has repeatedly denied the claims, saying Jalingo's arrest might be linked to the Revolution Now protest. In celebration of the United Nations Day, the federal government has handed over the renovated UN building to the global body. The event also marked with the significant laying of the wreath for victims of the 2011 car bomb explosion, where 23 UN staff, contractors and visitors lost their lives at the house in Abuja. The UN building was renovated by the federal government after the bomb attack on August 26, 2011, which left at least 23 dead and 60 others wounded. The new building was commissioned by Minister of the FCT, Mohamed Musa Bello, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari.
As we look to the challenges we face, from climate change to migration to terrorism and to the downsides of globalization, there is no doubt in my mind that global challenges require global solutions. No country can do it alone. We need today multilateralism more than ever. And we need what I am calling an inclusive multilateralism, in which not only executive branches are part of the system, but in which more and more the business community, civil society, academia, and parliaments are part of the way we together analyze problems, define strategies, design policies, and implement those plans.
This event is even more significant because it is our hope that it finally brings to a closure the very unfortunate events of 26 August 2011, when, unfortunately, this building was bombed. The commissioning ceremony of the rebuilt and renovated building is a testament as to how much progress we have made over the years in the fight against terrorism in our country.
Today's reopening of the UN House demonstrates our collective commitment to continue addressing the complex challenges facing Nigeria, West Africa, and the whole world. And today we renew our pledge, working together with the government and people of Nigeria towards a more prosperous future for all Nigerians, leaving no one behind.
You're still watching news now on TV360 Nigeria. We'll be right back with more stories.
Corruption not in my country.
Madam, madam, welcome. Okay, madam, no worry. When you deliver the balance, we'll give you the goods.
No problem, no problem. All right, so now well done.
Thank you. Hey, Oga, I still say she don't bring money. Maybe we use this one for him now. She wants mahogany, not white wood. Oga, our work now to join wood together, deliver whatever to customer. Put the remaining profit for pocket.
This is corruption, not in my country. Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
You're welcome back. We're now joined by Oyin Adekunle for the latest business stories. Hello, Oyin.
Hi, Anita.
It seems to be quite some progress for Nigeria in terms of business and her world ranking. Please bring us up to date on that.
Well, that's true. Nigeria is now ranked 131 globally on the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business ranking, moving up by 15 places from its 2018 spot. The Bretton Woods institution released the report in the early hours of Thursday. A comparison of business regulation in 190 countries across the world formed the basis of the ranking. In an earlier statement released, the World Bank had named Nigeria as one of the top 20 ease of doing business reformers across the world. The same report, which puts Nigeria as part of the top 10 reformers globally. Apart from Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Togo, Pakistan, Kuwait, China, and India were also named as part of the top 10 reformers globally. The federal government says it is fine-tuning details needed to establish a national carrier for Nigeria. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika revealed this on Thursday while speaking with journalists shortly after the budget defense session with the Senate Committee on Aviation. Contrary to popular belief, he insisted that the plans for Nigeria to have a national carrier has not been abandoned.
We have finished the outline business case, which has been duly considered by ICRC and passed, and they're back to us now, and we'll set up the committee as required by the law and by the program, and then we will go to the market very soon, and once we're in the market, we'll procure. Just yesterday, one of the OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, Mrs. Airbus, was in our office with the entire team, or with their president, and so on and so forth. And some of big names in leasing were also in my office. We've been talking, and some of those who are interested in partnering with us were also in my office.
Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed says Nigeria's money and capital markets remain shallow. Ahmed said this on Thursday in Abuja during the 2020 budget defense convened by the Senate Committee on Finance. The minister, while responding to questions from lawmakers, lamented that Nigeria is vulnerable due to large investments by foreign investors who remain the dominant force in the capital markets. She, however, recommended an amendment to Pension Act to enable the pension funds to invest in the markets as well as in infrastructure to end the vulnerability.
The Nigerian Stock Exchange, to my mind personally, is shallow, and we're looking at how to deepen it. We're working together with CAMIC, the capital market operators, on how we can mobilize domestic capital to invest more in the market. So now we are exposed because the largest share of investments are foreign direct investments. And FDIs come in when they see better returns, and when they see some change somewhere else, it goes out again. So we're vulnerable because of that. We need to look at how to enable the pension funds to invest in the market. And my assessment is there will need to be some amendment in the Pension Act to actually enable them invest more in the capital market as well as invest in infrastructure. We're also looking at how we can, we're also looking at doing a national savings policy to encourage not just government, but business and even individuals to save. There are some countries that have enabled national savings to the extent that I can use my phone and actually trade a small amount, $10 on the stock exchange at any time so we have to move to that. And it means people will feel comfortable and easy to save, and it will drive the transactions in the capital market and tip the balance from largely foreign investment to domestic investments.
We have to drive the process. 4 years ago, on daily basis, about $100 million are traded on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. It is Monday. It fell to an abysmal $3 million.
We'll take a break here and return with stock market review. Please stay tuned. The Nigerian stock markets wiped out all the gains from previous sessions today and fell by 0.15% on negative investor sentiments. The benchmark index, which rose by 0.12 yesterday, slid 20 points to 26,357 basis points today, while market capitalization dropped to 12.8 trillion naira, and this means that the loss incurred by investors today was around 20 billion. Now, top brewery company in Nigeria, Guinness Nigeria, of course, dragged hardest on the index, down to 26 naira and 45 kobo in the value of its share price, and that's a loss of nearly 10% in its share price. It is followed by GlaxoSmithKline, whose share price went from 6 naira 40 kobo, which it has maintained for 6 consecutive days, and fell to 5 naira and 80 kobo today, despite selling over 1 million units of its shares. And it's also a bad day for WAPCO, which led the losers chart yesterday, further losing 25 kobo today, and of course Custodian Investment PLC. And on the reverse, we have Forte Oil leading the pack of gainers, rising by 10% to 17 naira and 60 kobo, and Dangote Sugar garnered gains to the tune of 15 kobo as well. Also, the share price of Sterling Bank and Continental Reinsurance PLC also gained 5 kobo and 3 kobo respectively. And in summary, 449.239 million shares worth 1.6 billion naira exchanged hands in 2,810 deals today. And of course, moving on to foreign markets, we see FTSE rising, actually climbing to 0.93% today, to a near 1 month high. Actually, this 0.93 is a near 1 month high for FTSE, taking home gains for the 4th consecutive session and outshining the European benchmark. Dow Jones Index is down by 0.34%, while Japan's Nikkei hits year high on hopes for tech earnings in the country. So that's it from here, Aneta.
And thanks for the business updates, Oyi. And now to news in the UK. Police have confirmed that the 39 people who were found dead in the back of a lorry in Essex are all Chinese nationals. Security officials initially suggested the lorry could be from Bulgaria, but later said the container was shipped from the port of Zeebrugge in Belgium on Tuesday. Police are continuing their interrogation of the 25-year-old lorry driver, who's been held on suspicion of murdering the 8 women and 31 men. 3 properties in Northern Ireland have also been raided, while the National Crime Agency said it is working to establish if organized crime groups were involved. The lorry has been removed from the industrial park to allow for the next stage of the investigation, where the bodies can be recovered for forensic work to begin. Nigeria's Super Eagles have dropped by 1 spot in the FIFA World Rankings for the month of October to now place as world 35th country. According to the latest ranking released on Thursday, Nigeria garnered 1,481 points as against 1,482 points recorded in September. But despite the drop, the Eagles still occupy the 3rd spot in Africa, just behind Senegal and Tunisia, who were placed 20th and 29th respectively. And that's all on here on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Aneta Felix. Bye for now.